Welcome to the AskDomThat show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern. The fastest 30 minutes of your day to make you an overall more informed person. My name is Dominic Pereira, but you might know me as AskDomThat. Or maybe I should say bienvenido. And you'll know why. If you don't know, then you must be under a piedra, como se dicen. Let's get into the rundown, folks. What are we talking about today? Of course, February 9th, rundown 2026, the Super Bowl halftime show. I want to know what you guys think. I want you guys to know what I think. Surprisingly, it's okay to change your mind. I want to give you some grace no matter which way or what show you watch. We'll get into it. So Super Bowl halftime shows, maybe. And then, of course, I decided I'm not going to always just harp on negative news, harp on what's going on. There's a lot of stuff happening, a lot of cool, interesting news out of Europe. But instead of going over all of that today, we're going to be going over some articles that I have for you guys on the AskDomThat.com website that you can dive into. So I want to walk through some of those articles directly with you guys. But yeah, let's get into it. So the Super Bowl halftime show. If you watched Super Bowl, yes, the Seahawks won. There's actually something that I need to say about what I thought about that Super Bowl. But the most important thing that came out of that Super Bowl, because it was so lack of offense, was Bad Bunny. What were your thoughts on the Bad Bunny show? ¿Qué pensaste de Bad Bunny? ¿Qué pensaron? Well, was it a good show? Was it a bad show? Was it appropriate? Was it America friendly? Okay, here we go. I did not know if I was going to like it. And here's why. Because I'm out of the loop. I'm not, obviously, I don't care about the Spanish portion of it because I speak Spanish, right? Like, I will not, I have to be in English. No, I speak Spanish. I just don't listen to Bad Bunny. I don't listen to reggaeton. But I know he's big. I know that when I talk to people that do listen to it, like, oh, Bad Bunny. And I didn't realize, and then sometimes some of his appearances online are kind of weird to me. But he might just have a great marketing and PR team to just get the clicks and the bait and the blah, 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 right? And I didn't know if I was going to like it. I didn't know what to expect. I did like the fact that he said, you don't even need to know Spanish. I don't want you to go out and learn Spanish. I just need you to dance. I'm like, okay. And Bad Bunny has 90 million monthly listeners. So in reality, if you don't know his music, like I knew some of his songs, you're kind of in the minority. You're the one that's out the loop. We're the ones out the loop. So I definitely knew some of his songs. So here's the thing. I started the show curious. I was Bad Bunny, like, what's going on here? I see sugar canes. I was like, I like the setup. I don't know what's going on. And then this Negro starts really unpacking Latin culture. And for the first 3 seconds, he started off with the one hit that I do know, de una novia. Hey, I love that song. I'm like, oh, he started with that one. So the show's going to be short for me because I like that song. VIP, hey, it's sexy, say cheese. And then I was like, okay, but what's this show about? And I love the fact that he was not subtle. He was not subtle at all about Puerto Rican, Latin American culture. He out there, it looked like he was like, you know what? Instead of, I'm going to bring the culture to you guys. You guys want to demonize so many aspects of Latin America that I want to make sure you guys know what we stand for. Some of it was good. Some of it was interesting. But I loved it. It wasn't subtle. And I think the American people can appreciate somebody who's just speaking frankly. I was a little perturbed because maybe for me, I'm used to the flashy, pa, 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 do, 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 pa, pa, cha, cha. I'm used to those type of halftime shows. I love when Usher came out there on skates, Beyonce with a whole do, do, Kendrick Lamar, a lot of symbolism. Bad Bunny's like, no, we're going to show you, we're going to have a little coquito, we're going to have this, we're going to have that. Tell me what you guys thought about it. Did it take you back home a little bit? Did it remind you of, if you're Latin? If you're white, you might have seen it on TV before, I don't know what it made you feel. Because you weren't understanding anything. And I have sympathy for you because I'm thinking to myself, if I was listening to a Chinese, I'm not going to ching chong, I'm not going to do that. I guess I did it. But if I was listening to an all Chinese thing, I guess I wouldn't really know. But they making Chinese food, whatever. I'd be like, I don't know what I'm watching. So I have sympathy for you guys there, the non-Latinos. But is the message that bad? Do you always got to be the ones up front? Can it not be inclusive? Did it take anything away from you? Do you hate it that much? What's wrong with representation, folks? What is the fear in somebody saying, man, you know what? I support you all the time. I watch the show. I watch this. I watch that. I watch football. It is cool to see myself on that stage. If you see yourself in the Bad Bunny sphere. Just because we have a black Barbie doll on the shelf, that doesn't take away that you could also have a white Barbie doll. But why hate just because we have a Bad Bunny on the show, that doesn't take away every great shows that have come before, and they're certainly sure to come. So when people are so infuriated, and guess what? And who do I think is the real winners? Who do I think is smart about this? The NFL. The NFL is smart. If you don't understand what's going on, then you really just don't understand business. If you don't see that the NFL is saying, you know what, we are white owners. We are a white organization. Most of our players are black. Most of our fan base mixed out, but they're American men. We want more. We want to get the global reach. We see how these guys go crazy at these football. That's what we call soccer. Football games. They break down stadiums. The NFL wants that. Not the breaking down stadiums part, but that energetic. You see, they got the FIFA World Cup planned in 4 years. They're giving out peace prizes for the FIFA World Cup. Oh, and then Formula One, that global reach of Formula One. The NFL wants that. They shut down cities for Formula One. But you're not going to get that if you're always just really going towards the same crowd. The world is vast. The world is big. You want that energetic, hey, youth. Kid Rock, good for him. We're going to get into it. But if you can have somebody that's unifying in some way, their message is resonating, and he has Ricky Martin's phone number, why not? Now, for me, let's get into the part of the show that really drove up some.
Chile, Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, Bolivia, Perú, Ecuador, Brasil, Colombia, Venezuela, Guyana, Panamá, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, México, Cuba, República Dominicana, Jamaica, Haití, las Antillas, United States, Canadá, a my motherland, mi patria, Puerto Rico. Seguimos aquí.
Bye. I was just in Puerto Rico, folks. What's wrong with that message? I was just in Puerto Rico. It's a beautiful island. And the worst part about all of this is that it's American. People that are genuinely upset are like, yo, you're kind of forgetting that they are American citizens. They help vote for the presidency. I don't think they don't have a senator or Congress people, but they do have voting rights on the presidential elections. But And they have the best tax codes. If you are a true conservative and you don't like Puerto Rico's tax incentive system, then you're not a real like libertarian small government conservative, because they have the best in the country. So what is wrong with somebody just saying, hey, we are the Americas? And I can guarantee you an AskDomThat dollar that 90% of Americans could not name all of the countries in the Americas like he did. You're a guy, and I didn't remember all of them. I could do it, but maybe not in order, like that. I would maybe skip Uruguay or something. Maybe not Uruguay. Uruguay is actually a great country. But what's wrong with a message of unification, folks? He mentioned United States, America. He went through the trouble of learning how to say that in English. So why not? Now, what's next? What were we going to talk about next here? It's the memes and the tweets that came out. I just looked up Bad Bunny Super Bowl show just to see what's trending on Twitter, right? And then I don't know what this is. Benito, really? I guess that's what they call him, Benito, I guess, right? Bad Bunny lit up Super Bowl halftime stage with electrifying high energy set. I loved it. And this is really cool. From what I'm hearing, somebody told me these guys were really getting married. That is a super cool thing. They really got married at the Super Bowl. They invited him, apparently, I don't know, my producer told me this. They invited him to their wedding. He was like, I can't make it, but I'm going to invite you guys to get married on my stage on the Super Bowl. If that is true, how cool is that? Your uncle and auntie wouldn't even do that for you. How cool is that? And then Lady Gaga. And here's what I say. I am so out the loop, folks. I am not a cool, hip person anymore. Like I said, I didn't really know Bad Bunny too much. I know the young ladies know him. They love him. So I'm already out the loop there. I could not recognize who this lady was to save my life. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I heard the song on Instagram and TikTok and like the trending whatever. But my wife told me, oh, that's Lady Gaga. I'm like, oh, okay. I thought I saw her at the store. I couldn't tell you. And then Ricky Martin was there. I could not tell you who that was. So I'm watching a show that I did not know any of these folks. I mean, I know their names, but I couldn't recognize them. Somebody, look at this. If you tune into the Super Bowl halftime show after seeing this image, you are a traitor to your country. Well, that's an interesting image. Obviously, the whole dress thing, this is what the part of the questionable imagery. But at the same time, yeah, it's weird that this is a concert that he had. His ideologies, I would say, are weird. But have I ever been to a Bad Bunny concert? No. Is this part of his First Amendment rights? Absolutely. Is it constitutionally protected? Yeah. Are people on the Epstein file doing weirder stuff than this? Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you don't show that same hate, look, let me zoom in for y'all in case y'all can't see my screen. And then Donald Trump, I'm not going to read over the entire thing here. Totally agree. I don't know who this is, but Donald Trump, it says absolute terrible, one of the worst ever. It makes no sense and is an affront to the greatness of America and doesn't represent our standards of success, creativity, or excellence. I mean, literally, it literally does. It literally represents part of the America, because Puerto Rico is part of America. And then he mentioned all the Americas. So I'm not going to get to the, but he comes down here, including the best stock market and 401k in history. Folks, please tell me, are you feeling richer right now? When you wake up, are you saying, and for no bipartisanship, are you saying to yourself, boy, oh boy, I'm glad that the 401k is the best in history. I can go and get the premium gas today. Not only just $10, but the premium. Or do you watch the show? Do you watch the Super Bowl to forget about all that for a minute? Just for a couple hours, we're all united. We're all, yeah. That's what I would think. But so okay, so and then we got all of this. Ultimately, oh wow, Lady got Shorty dancing salsa, bachata, merengue. It was a little salsa there, but yeah, why not? If you're upset, you probably need to just loosen up a little bit. And then look at that. Together we are America. And then all these flags, orchestrating all of that. I liked it. Now I will say, I saw this article saying, was it this little kid here? This bro did not grow 3 years or 2 years in a couple weekends. So realistically, this is an actor, I did read. And perhaps the symbolism here is that he was a young Benito, Bad Bunny, and he was showing them that he can get a Grammy one day. But ultimately, that was, yeah, and then these guys got married. Take me off. Ultimately, that was that show. But for those who couldn't stand that show, there was a counter program. There was a counter program for Turning Point USA. They were like, you know what? We just can't stand all this. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? Bienvenido aquí, blah, blah, blah. We can't understand you. Speak English. You know who the best English speakers are? Country singers. So go ahead, turn on the Turning Point. This is the Turning Point USA counter programming. And my thoughts on it are surprising. Okay, great. This is Red, White, and Blue. Start off strong. Red, White, and Blue. Ironically, the same colors of the Puerto Rican flag and a lot of other flags. So you could describe Red, White, and Blue with so many other things. But, and then Kid Rock came out, I think a minute. Let's see if we can get the Kid Rock part of it. Realistic, right there. Boom. My name is Kid. Boom. Good for him. Now, here's my thought. I don't know what single Kid Rock song. Maybe I've heard of it. I can't even tell you. Gun to my head, you like lyrics of Kid Rock song. If this is his song, bang, bang, the boogie, blah, this is the first time I realized that was the song. Maybe I do know that. But outside of that, I don't know it's Kid Rock song. I started hearing some really suspicious lyrics from him this weekend or this week as people started talking about statutory stuff. But the reality is this set is cool. I mean, it's very much why we as a nation arguing about a halftime show. There's bigger fish to fry. I think, Mr. Fireball 619, amazing. I think the reason that we're arguing about a halftime show is because this is the quiet thing that they're saying out loud. They're saying, we don't like your culture. And the reality is when they're saying it in quiet, it affects when you go into a job interview. It affects when you go into a bank loan. It affects how the people that have an effect in your life view you, right? Like when, yeah, and then take that. I don't want to give them too many views here. All right, take that off. It was a counter program. That's exactly. Think about what that means. It's counter programming, meaning there's a program out there, maybe advancing X, Y, and Z, and they want to go against it. They want to go against it. Now, I saw a video, and then we're going to get into the other stuff. But a lot of people don't realize I'm an immigrant. A lot of people don't realize I'm an immigrant. A lot of people don't realize English was my third language. Fortunately, I got a chance to learn. If you would have caught me in probably up until high school, I knew people knew I was an immigrant because the first thing that come out of my mouth was like, hello, how you do? How are you? Hello. People are like, where are you from? I'm like, I am from Philly. I am Philly. So now I've somewhat assimilated, I guess, is what the word would be. And people tell me what they really think about the immigrants. They really think. Some of them, not everybody. A lot of people, I mean, you have a lot of allies, but good or bad. But the reality is the Super Bowl is just a pulse on the nation. I don't watch football anymore. I own season tickets. I sell more season tickets than I watch football. I really couldn't care less about the the artist that's on there. I like to know the economics of how the Super Bowl. I like keeping up with the Super Bowl show simply because I run a marketing and digital marketing firm. So I like to see how people move the needle. What gets people talking, right? And we have so many things to talk about. There's a lot of disagreements on ICE. There's a lot of disagreements on Epstein. There's a lot of disagreement. I don't even know how there could be a disagreement on that. A lot of disagreements on tariffs, right? And we have disagreements everywhere. What can we agree on as a country? Typically, that's war. Typically, when there's too much divide in a country, there's a reason you need to find a common enemy. And that's, the easiest one is to just attack a country. Because then once they attack you, then that's a common enemy. But when you don't have a common enemy, sometimes you have to create one. And you have to know if you're the enemy or not. And there's a community of people in this country that feel like they've been ostracized, call it the middle class white American, that they've been pushed out. They've been made to be the enemy because they believe in some traditional values. We're going to call it that. I'm giving them grace here. They feel like they're the enemy. Then you have some other people that feel like, whoa, you guys are out. Historically, Black Americans felt like you guys are making us to be the enemy. So that's what the Super Bowl and so many other things are about, right? Like how the country is viewing the culture. And pop culture drives so much of the day-to-day. But let's move on from that. Hopefully, if you enjoyed the show, great. If you didn't, well, whatever. There's always next year. And I would not be surprised if one of these next shows here is in full-on K-pop Korean. I don't know. I don't know how you do Korean, really. I don't know what those K-pop, but they do furry stuff. I know that. They do like weird furry balls. So K-pop. Maybe I'll I don't know. Maybe I'll do a counter programming to that once that comes out. All right, guys. So the last couple of minutes I want to share with you guys. If I see Mr. Fireball 619, I did see you join the AskDomThat community. Thank you. I will be doing some videos today exclusively for you guys. You had specifically mentioned building an app using AI, and I want to make sure that I give that exclusive content on how we can build and develop products using AI. It's something that I do for a living, something that I've, from a financial standpoint, worked out for me. But one thing that really made it successful is understanding something I want to share with you guys on my screen. Let's go. Let's share the screen here on the AskDomThat website. So this site's available to everybody. The first thing that I want to do is come to this section here. We only got a little bit of time. It's the Startup Lab. All right. The Startup Lab is where articles that I write about that talk about how you can start and run a business. These here are primarily focused around digital and technology businesses, digital ads businesses. That's I'm sorry, digital platforms. But here, MVPs, minimum viable product. So what is the importance of an MVP? If you don't know what an MVP is, read this article. But what I want to do is I want to go over some aspects of this article with you guys so that when you're out and about, you can, and you have some time on the train, read it. But a minimum viable product here, if you want to start a business, if you want to grow your business, you need to present a solution to a problem. And instead of building everything out, we answer some question: what an MVP actually is and isn't. Let's just get into it. What is an MVP? It's the smallest thing you can build to test a specific hypothesis. It's a learning tool. It's not a product. You don't have to build the entire product. When you start hearing MVP, you need to start speaking the lingo, people. You speak the lingo of successful people so that they know that you are on kind of at least their level of knowledge. Focus on one or two critical assumptions. What is a problem that you're trying to fix, and what's the assumption that you're making against that problem? Meant to fail fast if your assumptions are wrong. Different for every business based on what's uncertain. You don't want to spend a lot of money. This is a mistake that I've made. I've spent a ton of money and time building out my first iteration of a product, and that was so devastating. I spent money, time, resources, only to build something that people are like, that's not really what I wanted. So it wasn't minimal. And then the fact that people couldn't use it wasn't viable. And it was just a ragtag product at the end. Okay, what is not? What is not an MVP? A bad version of your product. Just because you're building a minimal viable product doesn't mean it has to be a bad version. It doesn't have to be the cheapest thing you can ship. Remember, if you are going to invest in yourself, if you're going to invest in your product, it has to be a true investment. People are just putting crap out there. You're looking at all of these products that are being built with AI. They're going nowhere. There's so many losers out there that you just need to be the best at one small thing. Whether it's, I don't know, give me a problem. What problem are you guys trying to solve? That's what I want to know. And it could be in your life, right? What problem in your life are you trying to solve? One problem for me is I do this show. And after this show, there's a lot of work that goes into producing a show like this. One, you need to set up the streams. You need to then get all this content, divide up the content, clip it, and put it out on different platforms. You engage with the audience. It takes a lot of work. I know that fortunately I have the resources, the teams, and everything to help me with that. Not everybody does. What product can I build to help other people do that? That would be solving a problem. Feature complete but buggy. You don't want that. I've built products that so buggy that it wasn't really even viable. And excuse for poor quality, and the same for every company. You want something that somebody's going to be willing to pay you for. So if you continue reading this article, the 3 types of risk and which MVP to build, right? Market risk. Is there actually a problem worth solving? What's the next problem? Product risk. Can you actually build a solution that works? There's a lot of problems out there, guys. But do you have the time, skill set, and the resources to build a solution that works? How challenging is the problem that you're trying to solve? The more challenging, the more ambitious, the bigger your reward. We already talked about this. Everybody can start a bakery. You don't need a big production to start a bakery. If you have a house with a front yard, you can set up shop. It was the old, here's my bakery stand in front of your house. I saw a lady on Instagram that started that, and there is a crazy line around her block to get her baked goods. Amazing for her. But what solutions are you bringing? Wizard of Oz MVP. So read a lot of this article, and it'll go into the details. But I don't want to bore you guys right now with all of the details. That's why this article's here. And then there's traction risk. This is also considered what's called the cold start problem. The cold start problem is, hey, I built it, it's here, and nobody is coming. How do you get what's called a network effect, right? Like when you're starting a social media site, people want to go there to view content, but they only go there if there's content that's posted. But people want to go there to post content, and they're only going to go post content if it's getting views. So what comes first, the viewers or the content? The network effect. It's Uber had this issue. Uber wanted people to go on their app to find rides. But guess what they needed? They needed drivers to sign up. But the drivers weren't going to come if there weren't any riders. How do you actually get traction? And so they had to pay drivers to just be there. And they had to give crazy discounts to riders to take the risk of getting in someone's car that they don't know, using a product that they don't know. So there are a lot of traction problems. What to build first. There is a decision tree. Your time is money. Don't waste time. I'm telling you, you don't have to make the same mistakes I've made. This is why I've outlined this. Do you know that people have this problem and will pay to solve it? Because ultimately, you want to make sure that you have a paying customer. There's people that will consume your product for free, but who's going to be your paying customer? Do you know you can build a solution that works? This one's always a little iffy because you can start, you can try, but do you really know that you're going to do it? Do you know you can acquire customers and they'll use it? How many subscriptions do you have that you paid for, you used, but and then you forgot about it? The reality is, yes, that company is probably making some money off subscriptions from you, but once you realize that it's there, you're going to cancel it. So they might not be solving a large enough problem for you versus an app that you use every day, every week, every so often. So what is the problem? What's the solution? And who are you targeting? What to include in your MVPs? Let's go. The core value proposition. If you can't tell me what your MVP does in an elevator pitch, then it's too wrong. The minimum workflow, the way to collect feedback, the way to capture demand. The collect feedback is important. Don't get yourself, it's called, I forgot the name of the book, but it's called like Mama Told You the Truth or something like that. If I build something, if I build an app and I ask my friends and family to give me the feedback on it, they're going to just lie to me, even if it's not intentional. They'll maybe some will tell me the truth, but their truth is not necessarily the best truth. Because if you have an honest friend that tells you, hey, I used your app, it wasn't that great. Didn't really work for me. Or like, I don't get it, whatever. But it's for example, I built a farming management app. I built a farm management app to solve some farm problems that I have. And if I give it to a friend of mine that doesn't farm, he isn't into agriculture, and he gives me some negative feedback, and I take that and I'm like, man, I appreciate you, but you are never the customer. You don't know the pain points. You might be a great at finance and accounting, or you might be a lawyer, but you're not an agriculture specialist, an agronomist, whatever, that is solving an agricultural problem. So you will never buy my product anyways. I can make it exactly how you recommend and you will never consume it. And we get tied into these cycles of iteration for the wrong people. So you want to collect the right feedback. You want to make sure that you're capturing the demand. So many people build stuff and don't know how they're going to get paid for it. They don't know how they're going to collect user data. I'll help you. We'll create this MVP, but you got to join the AskDomThat All Access. I'm going to do maybe a video. You guys let me know what's the best way to do it. Obviously, we're going to record it, but if you guys want to do a workshop in there, we're going to build out a product together. Authentication, core functionality that delivers the promised outcome, enough polish that makes you're not embarrassed to show it, payment pricing if you're testing willingness to pay. I can't tell you how much I've struggled with all of these. Let me go into it really quickly. Real use cases, basic authentication needs. We built an app, Clear Social, that when you download it, you can just scroll and watch the videos, right? Like you don't have to log in. When we try to launch it to the App Store, Apple App Store, they had a lot of questions as to why people needed to log in, why they didn't need to log in, what our rationale was, because there is content that I can't guarantee you what type of content somebody else is going to post. So if you weren't intending to see it, or am I involuntarily just producing some sort of maybe inappropriate content for your particular settings? Authentication's big, especially when you're in the delivery network of content. Core functionality that delivers the promised outcome. the promised outcome becomes so important, because as you work with clients, as you work with customers, they're telling you what they want. They're telling you what, and you think you understand them. But when you guys, the more you work, you start to realize that they don't even realize what they really want. And that outcome changes over time. So you want to make sure you understand the core. You can build out. All these companies get bigger. Facebook, Apple, YouTube, Google. They are not the same company today as when they started. So you need to go back to the core of what your product is. And then you can't be embarrassed of it. Clear Social, again, when we launched it, it was so buggy. Things weren't lining up. Things weren't. Now we still have problems. It's just not the focus of where we're going to be spending our attention. But what we learned how to get it to a product, and then when we actually had real users and we started seeing how they were using it, we realized, oh, they're using it completely different than what we thought. It was the algorithm that we were pushing, and that is not at all what people care about. And then there's use cases. So guys, coming up for you guys to a close, but what's the point of this article? How do you build an MVP, minimum viable product? Your product should be common issues. I give so much information here. This is available for everybody. Real MVP examples, companies that you know and use. Check them out. And more importantly, start your own. Take this off. Start your own. I will help you. The reality is that there's nobody who's saved their way to wealth. If that is your true goal, say financial freedom, you really can't save your way to wealth. Some financial freedom comes with whatever you define it as, whether you don't have to work when you don't want to, whether you don't have to be in a city that you don't want to be, you don't have to live in a certain place because of whatever. You could dictate what financial freedom is. I've been able to find my financial freedom, my slice of financial freedom, by building and delivering products to businesses that solves their problems. And I want to help you guys do the same thing. And if you are interested, join the AskDomThat All Access, where I'll see you. I'll be doing some workshops, start diving deeper into all of this. Remember, it's free for the first 100 users. After that, it's going to be a locked class, locked community, and you're going to have to just pay to play at that point. But if not, I appreciate you either way for consuming content here. The AskDomThat show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern, the fastest 30 minutes of your day to make you an overall more informed person. My name is Dominique Pereira, but you know me as AskDomThat.